Hello and welcome to another episode of the Examine Fandom, where we take a look at the NFL offseason so far. So, what's been pretty much the only major news that's happened, or the only meaningful news? Dangle?
Tom Brady decided not to re-sign with the Patriots and signed with the Buccaneers,
Yes.
Tampa Bay.
What were your initial thoughts on this move?
Well, I didn't really know why he wanted to go to the Buccaneers. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but for the Buccaneers, I feel like it's a good pickup.
Well, yes, because actually the Buccaneers actually had the best offense in the NFL. But really, their undoing here, as you can see on this page, is you can see was their turnovers and defense. So their defense, we'll show you that in a moment. It was pretty okay for yards. The points were not good, but this will give you a sense why. So first of all, we can see the Patriots here has had the best turnover differential. So they had 21 more takeaways than they had giveaways, right?
Yeah,
When we get to the bottom of the list, you end up with seeing the Tampa Bay in the bottom five, giving away giving away the football 41 times. So if you can get Tom Brady to get that Tom Brady to protect the football, then this is actually looking like a much better team. Especially since the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were able to take away the ball some of it. They were able to total, I want to say here, 28 turnovers on. So that's not too bad. They had forced 28 turnovers on defense. If you look at their yards per game, they come up. The Patriots are first, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers actually were the 15th best team in yards per game at 343 or 344 yards per game. But they ended up giving up 28 points per game because of all those turnovers. So that's something that they're really going to have to watch out on. But if you look at a team that they were more successful than was the at stopping at yards per game was the Green Bay Packers, who gave up more yards per game than the Buccaneers, but still made it to the NFC Championship game. So it looks like the tools are there in Tampa Bay if they can take care of the football. They already have one of the best offenses in the NFL. So there's no reason why they can't have they can't have a very solid team, maybe even a Super Bowl contender.
so you think with Brady in Tampa Bay, they can make a run deep into the playoffs?
Well, I think there's no reason why not to if the Packers could, and it looks like if we just look at the turnover differential, the Packers had a very good turnover differential. They were third in the league, and it looks like if the Buccaneers can take over the football 1.5 times per game, or almost like they did last year, but you can have Tom Brady with his come in and only throw 9 interceptions. And if the Buccaneers can get uh, get rid of a couple of fumbles, you're looking at a massive swing because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers already had one of the best offenses. So it really is a quick fix. It's just stop turning over the football. The defense isn't that awful. The offense is already really good. So it looks like Tampa Bay will be ready to roll for the 2020 season if and when it occurs.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I think I could agree. I could get with that.
Yeah, well, we actually have to. So it looks like Tampa Bay's gonna have a pretty good shot at the Super Bowl. But we got here's one team that will not have a good chance at the Super Bowl, and that is the Rams. So Todd Gurley, what didn't see his release coming, Daniel? Did you?
Well, I wasn't expecting them to release Todd Gurley, but I knew they were gonna. There's no way they could, because they have Jalen Ramsey. on that contract that they traded for. So I knew people were going to get cut. I was surprised they cut Ty Gurley though.
Yeah, they're going to eat up 20 million in dead money, as this article says. Knee injuries. He lacked explosiveness, so they had to reduce his carries. So it just looked like a failure of a sign. It was just a failure of an extension. The Rams are a failure of an organization. Basically, they started giving out huge contracts to people who
Yeah.
didn't deserve them, and that is how you end up. That's a recipe for disaster if you're paid at the bottom of the draft. So we could see them having an 8-8 season this year, and then being sub 500 thereafter. Future's not looking good. Not looking good for the Rams.
No.
No. Other couple interesting moves in the NFL. The Vikings got rid of Stephon Diggs, shipping him over to Buffalo for, I believe it was a first round pick among other draft picks. So, are you excited for that move? As a Buffalo fan, would you be excited for that move?
I would. I mean, getting Josh Allen more weapons is always better, and Stephon Diggs is a great wide receiver.
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna. I wonder how that's gonna work out with the Buffalo Bills, because now that Tom Brady's gone, I guess they're going in for it with Josh Allen and getting him weapons and everything. So we should see him. We should the Bills should be able to win the division easily. Probably get a first round bye. So I suppose that they could really use a plus
Yeah.
receiver. But I think this is a good move for the Vikings, because if you can get an extra first round pick, if there's one position where you can be mediocre at and then still do really well, it's wide receiver. Also, DeAndre Hopkins, on the other hand, got shipped off to Arizona.
Yeah.
That's looking good for the Cardinals, is it not?
Oh yeah. No, that's a good pickup for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and also it's good for the Texans. If they don't like a guy, then don't keep him around just because. Just
Yeah.
trade him. Trade him, you know.
Yep.
It's never one guy, so it's better to get rid of someone who's not good for the team than it is to suffer the consequences of having him on the team. So I give Houston credit, and I think if you look at many trades, it looks as if the team that ended up getting the pick, that ended up getting the draft picks in the trade, is the winner ultimately, because one player's career is too fragile. But if you have extra draft picks, that's just going to amplify the chances of you getting a good draft by exponentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the Bears and their embarrassing debacle, getting rid of Trubisky and then getting Nick Foles?
Well, I feel like Nick Foles is better than Mitch Trubisky, but he was injured all last season. So we'll see how he comes back from this injury.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
He should be fine, I think.
I feel like the Bears have made some good moves so far.
Yeah, Nick Foles is that quarterback that you need if the rest of the team's good and you need a decent quarterback. You just roll with Nick Foles, and then you should be fine. But wow, that was such a fail. They traded up one spot to draft Trubisky. That's never gonna get. That might be the worst. That might be considered the worst draft trade in NFL history, especially when you couple that with trading for Khalil Mack. All of a sudden, you have about 3-4 years straight of no first round picks, and you took
Yep.
one of the worst quarterbacks taken in the top 5 of all time. So, talk about
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
they blew that one. Yeah.
especially when Patrick Mahomes was available. So that yeah,
But
Rams.
at least they're cutting their losses though. They're not trying to hang on to them.